So for more, we're now joined by Arsen Karatyan, founder of LEQ Media and the former advisor to Armenia's Prime Minister. Thank you so much for your time. So we've seen some of the footage, a frightening time. Can you give us your account of what happened over the past 48 hours or so in Nagorno Karabakh?
Thank you for having me and your interest in the region. Basically, as has been reported through the international media, yesterday on September 19th, Azerbaijan began a large-scale offensive against in Nagorno-Karabakh, leaving over 3,000 people dead, including civilians. Their basically argument was it was supposedly an anti-terrorist move by their government. Today at around 14:00 local time, a ceasefire has been established. From different villages and towns, the Russian peacekeepers have been evacuating the local population. A couple of thousand people currently, as we speak, are at the airport, the only airport in Stepanakert, hoping that there will be some form of evacuation coming up. Tomorrow, the representatives of Nagorno-Karabakh and Azerbaijan are meeting at the city of Yevlakh, which is in Azerbaijan, and supposedly the terms of how we're moving forward will probably become more clear after that meeting.
Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev saying ethnic Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh will have the same rights as everyone in Azerbaijan. Can the Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh live under Azerbaijani rule?
Considering how the wounds are very, very fresh. I mean, they've just attacked the people in Karabakh again. I am very, very suspicious about a possible coexistence at this stage. If we have to get to a point where there can be a coexistence, there should be a process of reconciliation. There should be a long process of dialogue between the people in Karabakh. But also the years of Armenophobia that has been developing in Azerbaijan, starting from their textbooks. Armenians are the enemies. Armenians are those compared with animals. So my understanding is it's almost impossible to imagine Armenians being able, at this stage at least, to live under Azerbaijani rule, especially taking into account the xenophobic nature of this administration, as well as, of course, lack of democracy and other rights. I mean, many other citizens of Azerbaijan are living in a regime, as we all know, and so I doubt that it is going to be a possibility right now to discuss how they can force an integration, what they call a reintegration of Armenians of Karabakh.
We're also hearing reports that the Armenian people are reportedly angry at how the Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan has handled this issue. Is he to blame? What are your thoughts?
I mean, there is definitely some anger in the streets of Yerevan right now. You can even overhear some of the shoutings and the protests outside of my window. They're doing from yesterday on, when Azerbaijan began its attack. They went out to the streets in the main square, the Republic Square, where the Prime Minister's office is. There were basically clashes between the protesters and the police. Understandably, there are, of course, political groups that are sort of using this moment to possibly come to power. But there is also legitimate anger, especially among those people who actually had to leave Karabakh. Nagorno-Karabakh. We know that after the 2020 44-day war, several villages and a whole region in the south was taken by Azerbaijanis, and it's still controlled by them. And tens of thousands of people had to relocate and move to Armenia. So there are relatives of the people from Nagorno-Karabakh. There are also political groups, but there are also some of the groups that are clearly and directly led by Russia, which is using this situation to mingle inside the country and to influence the domestic policy.
Certainly a complicating factor indeed. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you speaking to us. Arsen Karatyan, appreciate your time. Former advisor to Armenia's Prime Minister. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.